Can you believe what just happened? The game was over. Aaron Rodgers was injured. That was it. The Bills were going to walk away with this game, and just disaster after disaster as somehow, some way, the Jets on a walk-off punt return in overtime to win the game. Just an incredible game. What we're going to talk about today is what we have to talk about today. Josh Allen was, quite frankly, terrible in this one. He just was. He was not good. You know, missing throws is missing throws. There are going to be mistakes made, but there's so much expectations for Josh Allen. And while, we're going to talk about the good defense of the Jets and kind of what caused all this to happen, we got to talk about, really, what we're going to do in this video is talk about the 4 turnovers and what went wrong in them. Okay, so first things first, the first interception here, I'm actually going to defend this one a little bit. Maybe not massively, but I am going to defend, I guess massively, I don't know. I'm going to defend this interception here because, in a way, I don't think this is a bad interception. Not all interceptions are created equal. This situation matters, and this is a 3rd down and 8 right here. Allen is going to take the snap. He looks around and doesn't love what he sees, so he scrambles outside the pocket. The one thing you could maybe look at is, could he have ran? But there actually is a Jets player just off screen, so no, he couldn't have. So for Josh Allen here, I mean, yes, for sure, you could say just throw the ball away and punt the ball, but you know what? Why not take a shot deep down the field where, worst case scenario, it's going to be pretty similar to a punt anyway, but hey, who knows? Maybe you get a pass interference penalty, maybe somehow you get a miraculous catch. It seems like it's a very low risk scenario. There still is a risk. There could be a deep, return or something like that, but a low risk, high reward type situation. Instead, Allen throws this up. It does get intercepted, but, that's better than what a punt would have done. So it actually helped them, that play. So that one, okay, fine. And again, I'll give you one interception, one bad play a game typically anyway. So I'm not going to freak out over that one. However, then there's some that I will freak out over. Starting off with this play, I don't know what Allen saw in this play. I just don't. Where it's zone coverage, and you have Stephon Diggs running a route that, okay, on paper could maybe work. It's a cover 2 zone that the Jets are in, and, sometimes kind of the over the middle route, it's going to be deep down the field, but sometimes if both safeties stay further deep, then it could result in, a gap opening up over the middle, and I'm assuming that's what Allen was hoping to see have happen. However, when Allen takes the snap, he's going to, he stares, doesn't really stare it down, but he definitely doesn't hide it either, what he's doing. Throws it over there, and both safeties are on this. I mean, I don't know what Allen really saw on this play, unless he just misread the coverage altogether. This is kind of one of those just like baffling decisions, quite frankly. And again, I wish I had all 22 footage so I could really say exactly what he saw, but I don't think there's anything he could have seen to make this a justifiable throw. As you see, it does end up getting intercepted there by Jordan Whitehead. Good job by the Jets to finish off that play. And also, I mean, Diggs played some pretty good defense there. While that was kind of an easy interception in terms of the throw, Diggs did his best to not allow that to be a throw. So, it is worth mentioning with all this stuff. Bad offense still is going to be an incompletion unless a defender makes a good play, right? You have to capitalize on it to get a turnover. Sometimes we view turnovers as purely the fault of an offensive player. Not always the case. Defender has to come through and make a good play. Whitehead made a good play there. Also, this one was, in my opinion, this was just the wrong read. I mean, this is once again a zone coverage play, and you see how the Bills have things on the top of the screen. You have a receiver kind of running a shallower underneath route, also known as, a flat route is what it's called, and then an out route, where basically the idea is that you have, 2 Jets players covering that section of the field, one covering underneath and one covering further deep. But the guy who's covering shallower is probably going to be the main guy here, as, when you're covering deep, you're going to be a little bit further deep. Typically, the guy who's covering shallower will only cover one of the 2 receivers, and you hit the other player. That's typically how these things tend to work. Watch as Allen takes the snap. He is going to fire. He's going to go for a deep route, and I don't know why. Again, not deep route, but, the deeper route on this play. Underneath was open. That flat route was open, and quite frankly, there was other checkdowns on this play that were open. Diggs was wide open for a first down as well. I don't know. I mean, Allen it's quite frankly one of those situations where he made his decision before the play happened. He had already decided where he was going to go with the football, which, listen, it's obviously not a bad idea to decide where you want to go with the football. That just makes sense. That's smart football. But you can't just make your decision and then no matter what, fire it there. You have to read the play. And if he read the play properly, he would have thrown it underneath and you would have gotten the first down. Instead, he throws it down the field. And again, it's a great play by Whitehead. Like, that has to be mentioned, is that I think a lot of safeties in that situation do not get the interception. They probably get an incompletion. I think that one had a low likelihood of getting caught. But like, that obviously goes without saying. I mean, the Jets defense is really good. The Jets defense doesn't give you a lot, but also Josh Allen was maximizing the issues, right? I mean, at the end of the day, you're a superstar level quarterback. We've seen you play at superstar levels. You can't be making these kind of mistakes. You just can't be. And then this one, this was just, I don't know, he kind of panicked is how I would describe this. This is a weird comparison, but I remember, I was in Boy Scouts, and I remember kayaking. They would say if your kayak tips over, the main thing you have to make sure you do is don't panic. Horrible things happen when you panic, but if you don't panic, you're probably going to be okay. It's kind of the same thing with when you botch a snap, right? If you're in a shotgun and you botch a snap or botch a handoff, don't panic. You have to make sure you don't panic and watch what happens here. Where one thing to note is there's a tight end who's going to be flashing from the offense's right to the offense's left on this play. As you see, Allen, he just drops that snap right away, but then he panics. He puts his head down and just starts running forward and runs into the tight end who was supposed to be flashing and making that play. This is, a terrible situation. You have to let that play develop. I believe this was supposed to be a quarterback run from the start. I'm not exactly sure because it's not fully set up that way. I think it's possible it was supposed to just be a handoff, but because of the botched snap, Allen assumed the timing would be off and just put his head down and ran forward. But he didn't have to, and this is just a mistake. Already it's a mistake. If he got tackled here and held onto the football, it's a mistake. But he also, in the contact, loses the football. The Jets fall on it. That's a disastrous play. There's really no other way to describe it. That's a disastrous play, and these are the kind of things that, for Josh Allen, you just can't be making these mistakes. It's really that simple. You just can't be making those mistakes. So yeah, those are kind of my thoughts on all of this. Again, it was a bad game. I don't know what to take away from this. With Joe Burrow and his bad performance, I kind of said, hey, we're used to seeing Joe Burrow play well. He had one bad game. I'm not going to freak out. We've seen Josh Allen have bad games before. He's not a quarterback that is incapable of having a rough day. I think that the Jets definitely put him in some tough situations, and that's fine, but he exacerbated bad situations and made, worse things happen than should have happened on specific plays. And so, if he plays how he typically does, the Bills win this football game, quite frankly. So huge win for the Jets, but just a complete blown opportunity by Buffalo.